Hi guys, welcome to our second session for week 4. Our next lectures are going to be Tuesday, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, and Wednesday at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. Wednesday will be more of a multi-session. We won't necessarily be having a lecture, but if you need help, if you're having trouble with something, you can come into Wednesday's lecture and I will help you out. I'm going to leave the room open for at least an hour. So if you come in by 3 p.m. Mountain Time or a little bit after, the room will still be open. After that, you can email me and I will open up the room. Today, we're going to go through the announcements, the week 4 overview, the week 4 final assessment overview, and then we're going to get started with our metadata demo. And at the end, and of course, as you know, you can always interrupt me. If you have questions, just let me know. Announcements this week. Be sure to visit the SSC if you need help. Christy has posted her hours in the course announcements. Again, I will be in the SSC, the Student Success Center, on Thursday from 8 to 11 p.m. Mountain Time, and on Friday from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Mountain Time. This is the last week, guys, so please get everything wrapped up and submitted ASAP from the previous week so that I can get everything graded and get your final grades to you. In our final week, we will make our site responsive for mobile devices, as well as tweaking anything that needs to be tweaked and going through the site with a fine-tooth comb to make sure everything is ready to publish. Our learning objectives this week: create a responsive website for mobile devices and publish the website live. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Misty.
Our overview for this week: we're going to be make our websites responsive, and we're going to publish the site. Career integration quiz. Don't forget about that. It's worth 15 points. I had a student last mod that didn't end up passing the course because they didn't take the career integration quiz. It's 15 points, and sometimes that can mean the difference between passing and not passing. So be sure you take that quiz. It's also great feedback for me. It's the 3 basic questions that you have every mod. What did you find most valuable about the reading and then videos? And what did you find most valuable about me, your instructor? Tell me about the things you liked. If there's something you didn't like, tell me that too. That's how I kind of gauge if I need to change up my teaching style or add something to it, take something away from it. Your feedback is what I use to evaluate that. What did you find most valuable from the assignments of the course and why? In our final week, we will make our site responsive for mobile devices, as well as tweaking anything that needs to be tweaked and going through the site with a fine-tooth comb to make sure everything is ready to publish. Uh-oh, I think I went backwards by accident. There we go. Projects go. You're almost there. It is the final week, and we will make your Muse portfolio website responsive for mobile devices. Remember from week 3's discussion that ranking for Google is now tied to a website being mobile friendly. So this is your final last step. You will also do any modifications to your copy, graphics, layout, or anything else from your critique feedback. Also, go through your site and make sure you have added alt tags, title tags, descriptions, etc. that we learned how to do in week 3's discussion video if you haven't already. When all of the above are done, you will publish your site live on the internet with Business Catalyst, or if you have your own domain and server, upload it there. We will discuss some free hosting options in the live session if you want to create an account on one of those. Yeah, Phil, I noticed that too.
I was trying to get in there quick enough to tell you, but you kept talking and I wasn't typing fast enough.
Our instructions for this week: working in the same document you used in week 3, make any updates requested from your critique, feedback, and previous week's critique and feedback. The finished website should be creative, professional, and will attract potential clients or employers. Using breakpoints, adjust your site layout so it will look good on the tablet and smartphone. All images must have alt tags for SEO. All pages must have titles, descriptions, and metadata. Publish your site. After publishing your site, test your contact form to make sure it's working. I will send out an email after you have turned in your final assessment. I will send you an email through your contact form, and you have 24 hours to respond to me to get that credit. You're going to submit the URL to your live website, meaning you're going to copy and paste from the address bar in your browser. Make sure it's not pointing to the file on your hard drive at the server on the web where you have it hosted. And then you're also going to export your HTML documents and zip that folder together and submit it also. All right, guys, today we're going to get started with our metadata. Let me switch over to Muse here. Okay, when you open your Muse and you open your website, you're in your plan view. The first thing you're going to do is right-click on your home page and go to Page Properties. In the little box that pops up, you notice the metadata button. Simply click on it. You're going to enter a description for that page. Make sure that your description is relevant to that page. Overall, your home page, make sure that description is relevant to your entire website. On all the other pages, make sure it's relevant to that page in particular. So for my home page, I did a simple description. I'm a graphic and web designer specializing in print design and vinyl graphics and decals, and responsive web design using the latest HTML5 and CSS. Simple, to the point. Keywords. Your keywords must be relevant to the page, and try not to repeat keywords throughout your website. So the keywords I used for my home page were my name, graphic design, web design, and Dallas-Fort Worth. And then you're going to click on your Options tab. And this is where you can rename your pages. Now, when you first click on this page, this is going to be checked. You're going to need to uncheck it. You can leave the page name as what you have them named for your navigation bar. In the page title, for my home page, I put my name. So instead of the tab that pops up in the browser just saying home, it's just going to say my name instead of home. And then you can hit OK. On the portfolio page, Page Properties, and you can see here, first let's do my metadata first. I'm just going to do a that's pretty good for my portfolio page because I don't have any of my vinyl graphic stuff in that portfolio yet. So all I have in there is my print design stuff. So I'm just simply going to say these are examples of recent work in print design. Keywords. Now this is where it's going to get a little busy. I'm going to do business cards, logos. What else do I have there? Postcards. Invitations. I think that's all I have in my portfolio right now. So then I'm going to click over to options. Hi, Corley.
Hi. Stephanie. Sorry, am I late? I was working on my computer. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Okay, once you click over to options, you're gonna uncheck same as page name. Now for my page title, I'm gonna go portfolio, hit my space bar, put a straight line in there and type my name.
Misty, I got a question about using your name on there. Is it because on your website you have it under your name
Yes,
instead of like a company name?
right. For your company name, you would put your company name there. But since this is my
Okay,
website, I'm putting Misty Porch.
okay. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't have it titled something else and you were still using your own name. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, you're gonna, when you put the little extra on the end of that title, make sure it matches your website, whether it be your name or your company name.
Thank you.
And then we have my about page. Now on my about page, I'm going to open this up and I'm actually going to copy the first few lines of my about, my bio. I'm going to copy just the first couple of sentences there. And then get a rainbow, close that page out, go back to about and go to page properties, click on my metadata, and I'm going to paste those couple of sentences right there for my description. And my keywords, I don't really have a lot of keywords on that page. I've already used graphic design on the home page, web design.
Texas.
I don't want to repeat the Dallas-Fort Worth on this page. I'm going to repeat it on the contact page, but not on the about page. So I could repeat my name here. It's relevant and to the point. That about page is specifically about me. So I am going to repeat my name on that page. And then I'm going to go to options and uncheck that box that says same as page name and add my name in here. Yes, Phil, Texas. And hit OK. And last but not least is my contact page. Oh, page property.
No, I meant using Texas as a keyword. I wasn't making fun of the South down there.
Absolutely a good idea. That's a very good idea. I have Dallas-Fort Worth on my home page, but I could very well put Texas in here. Page properties on my contact page. And keywords for my contact page, I'm going to do Dallas. I'm going to do Fort Worth, different. I spelled it out the first time. This time I'm going to use the abbreviation that everybody uses. And I may add a few more surrounding towns.
That's a good idea.
What else are you adding after Frisco? I mean, I see you have Dallas-Fort Worth, and then you add more stuff. What is that for?
It's keywords for my contact page. And on my contact page, it tells my location, and it says serving the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Okay, but I mean, like the other, like Frisco and whatever the next one is, and Venus, that's other areas around where you're at.
Yes, that's within the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So if someone from Frisco or Midlothian or Alvarado or Venus searches graphic designer, well, guess what?
You'll pop up.
that say I'm in this area. So I'm more likely to get in their search list. And then I'm going to do the basic keywords. Phone, location. I think that'll do it for that. And I'm going to go to my options and once again uncheck that box and add my name. Now then, on your master pages, those of you that wish to do a favicon. Everybody know what a favicon is?
Nope.
You know that little icon that you see
Same
on your
here.
phone when you go to a website?
Oh, you mean like the safe for whatever site?
When you go to any site, let's see. Let me just share. I don't have my web browser open. Hold on a second. There we go. Let's try this again. Even Canvas has a favicon. See that little red symbol on the top of my tab there?
Oh, yeah.
That's a favicon. So if you wish to add a favicon to your website, you do it by right-clicking on the master pages and going to page properties. If you do it on the master page, it will automatically apply to all your pages, so you don't have to do it separate times for each page.
What is the purpose of that?
It's branding. That's the purpose.
So you master page. So
Like
you should what?
Yeah, on mine, I shrinked down my logo. Is all I did.
Okay, that's what I was saying. Is that basically what we're thinking? Okay. Okay.
I just shrink down my logo for mine. But you can see my tab now says Misty Porch. If I click on my portfolio page, it says Portfolio Misty Porch. Any questions, guys?
No, I did want you to show me how to make the like right here, how it's real. I remember in one of the things when we were doing our magazines, I think it was you were showing us how to put it on a book, and so you make it 3D. Remember that?
You want to go over using your, have you already downloaded a mock-up?
No, I'm working on that now. Oh, you mean the mock-up of the magazine, you mean?
Let's see here. Let me do a new share. If you open your Creative Cloud desktop app and you go to Assets, there are a lot of mock-ups, free mock-ups that you can download. Let's see if we can find one. It's a magazine. Like this?
Yes, well, the one I'm talking about, it was to show the, I'm having a moment. It's when you did it, you showed the magazine sitting, you know, like closed, so you could show the top of the magazine.
Like the cover?
Yes, the cover. Okay, I'm babbling. I'm having a hard time.
I probably got that from Mockup World. Let's go back to Chrome.
Because it was really cool. And I remember you doing it, but I didn't get a chance to do it myself, but I really liked it.
Was it like this?
Yes, so that,
Let's see which one. I can't remember which one I used. I think it might have been one like this where it showed the front and the centerfold.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
What you do is once you find, I got this, I get most of my mock-ups from Mockup World. Just mockupworld.com. Most of them are free.
Thank God. Okay.
And then you just download them. Let's see. It's your download button. I love their little spinny ball. And then I'm going to allow. There it is. There's a brochure template too. I want the PSD template. Oh, that wasn't the mock-up. Some of Mock-up World's stuff will send you to third-party websites, and I really hate doing that. So what I'm going to do is magazine mock-up free. There's the PSD templates. I use PSD templates a lot too. Here's another mock-up that's off Behance. And you can see it will do open stacks. It comes with quite a few of them, it looks like. Let's see what PSD has to offer. This shows the front and back cover. The spread, I think it was this one. It shows the front cover and then the center spread. That one was this one. These are different than, well, this may not be. This isn't probably not an action. Let's see. Download. Let's see what we downloaded. That's the RAR file though. I really want the mockup file. And this, I'm trying to remember, I showed you the mockup one from my brochure, right?
Yeah, well, but we were doing the, that's nice. This is so important for me because I'm trying to download and I always seem to get the wrong thing,
Right,
like you
yep.
said.
Do you actually need a magazine or do you need a brochure?
I have both would be, just show me one. The magazine is the most important right now.
Okay. This one I like. Yeah, this one looks good.
Yeah.
Download it though. Hello. There it is.
There they are.
That's on Behance as well.
Okay, Behance.
We download. No, but it's linked to a third party. I can't believe Adobe's letting Behance do this. Users do that. Huh. That's new. Let's see what else I can find.
So what happens? Because it seems like that happens to me all the time, and I feel so stupid. So at least it's nice to see that it happens to somebody else. So you
Yeah,
click on it, and then they want you to.
yeah, I have some trusted sources. I use PSD mockups a lot, and I use Mockup World. Mockup World, you do have to be a little careful with, but is it PSD templates? They've changed their name. PSD. Changed their name recently. Let's see. Their search. I have a plugin in my Photoshop, PSD covers. That's what they changed their name to. I actually have a plugin in my Photoshop that will access PSD covers.
Yeah, you did it really easy when you were showing everybody, and it got beyond me. I was like, it was easy for me.
Here you see they have some magazine mockups, the PSD covers.
This is the one I think you used, or something like that. Mm-hmm.
Can download it. These are a little different. I'll show you two different ones because using PSD covers is different than using a regular mockup.
Oh, okay.
I can't download it from here. I'm going to have to go into my Photoshop in order to get the one for CC. But we'll take a look at this one too. I need to unzip it because this is a regular mock-up like you find for free all over the place. They use smart objects. There's the PSD cover one.
I just posted a site that I've used a couple times to get mock-ups. I can't remember if there was a magazine in there or not.
What's the one that you use, Phil?
This is one. I just posted on the chat.
Oh,
Raspberry.
There it is, magazine or book.
is it free?
PSD.
I believe so, because that's my motto. If it's free, it's for me.
I like you even more.
You may use that.
Thank you.
Open. Okay, guys, hang on a second. My Photoshop is opening. PSD covers uses actions in Photoshop. So basically what's going to happen is you'll open in your actions panel and you click step one and you hit play and it creates an artboard for you. You paste or place whatever graphic or your work onto that artboard, and then you go down to step 2 and you hit play and it turns it into whatever the mock-up is. It's really cool.
Oh, good.
That one sounds neat, so you can see it before you get it.
Yeah. Come on. It's almost open. Maybe.
Here's another site for you. Free site.
Graphberry.com.
Well, that was one I was using, but below that, Fusion Plate.
Yes. These are going to be the smart object stuff, and that's what I'm opening right now so that I can walk quickly through how to use that. They're pretty simple, as long as you know how to use them.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think that's usually everything, isn't it, Misty?
That is the story of my life, I have to tell you. I'm courageous. I keep trying, but I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
That's how you learn, Corley. You just kind of have to keep at it until you figure it out.
There are moments.
And that is very true.
Yes, it is. I just feel like I've got dents in my head though sometimes.
Graphic design is definitely an ongoing learning experience. It never stops. Okay, let me switch my share to Photoshop. Cancel. Okay, this is just the template mock-up that I downloaded from that website, not PSD covers.
From Graphberry, right? Or one of them.
There. Now let me move it. Okay, so most of the templates you download are going to look just like this. You're going to have layers, and it'll say book front, open book. Most of the time they have folders or group things together. So book front, which is the cover here. You expand that folder. You'll find a layer that says add front cover. Well, that doesn't mean you add it on this screen. See that little icon? That little smart icon?
Mm-hmm.
Click it. It's going to open a new tab that gives you a flat design. So here is where you would place your artwork. File. Paste. And I got a spinny rainbow. Using Photoshop do not want to be open at the same time.
Oh, they're not very friendly with each other, especially with that swirling rainbow.
Yes. Come on. Come on. I'm just going to lose a simple logo here just to show you what happens. Check mark. I'm going to delete that layer. Double click that little color icon and turn my background color white. Oh, that's not quite white. And then I'm going to go to File, Save.
Or Command S.
And there you go. It automatically takes what you put on that artboard and places it on the template design. Same thing for your inside cover pages. So now we've got the book front done. So we go to Open Book folder, add your left paper here, add your right paper here. So you simply double click on the first one, add the left side of your spread.
My God, that is so easy. I don't. It's scary.
Yeah, I love these kind.
Yes. I have a question. See how where they have that that little strip of shadow on gingerbread? Looks like it's humping.
Right
like
here?
Ripping.
It's because I had put it on a white background and it shouldn't have been. What magazine cover have you ever seen that's white?
Not what I read.
Maybe an album cover, but not a magazine cover.
I just don't have a magazine design on this computer to actually throw there. But see, it makes it look like you know how magazines are kind of bent?
Yeah, okay.
That's what that's representing. And then, of course, you have the PSD mock-ups. Let's see if I can get mine open. I have to open up artboard.
You know, there's also the like the billboard mock-ups and stuff like that that might not have the add-ons.
There's a mock-up for everything you can imagine.
Sometimes
search for them, but it's there. You just have to search for it.
Okay.
Just make sure if it asks you to download, if it gives you the file type, make sure it says PSD.
Okay.
But like the one I clicked on, it didn't have a file type. When it started downloading, I noticed the file extension said Dart, RAR. That all that's going to be is an image. That's not what you want. You want a true mockup, which is a PSD file, so you can just click on those smart objects and put your work in there, save it, and go back to the other tab, and everything be perfect.
Yes, that's what I want. Crazy.
I actually took a picture of my desktop monitor and created a mock-up out of that by putting whatever image onto the screen, like it, you know, I'm looking at it on the computer.
Right. Okay, my PSD mockup icon it used to be right here. I haven't used it in forever. And how much you want to bet when I updated to 2017, it disappeared. Let's find out if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it.
I'm still on 15.
You need to update, Corley. You should be using 2017.
Now, I thought the school has to do that. Does the school have to do that? Because I keep getting this message that says I have 8 Creative Cloud updates, and I'm afraid. I'm like, I don't know where that came from.
And you just need to go into the hub, and if you go to the Graphic Design Lounge or look in the announcements on our class, the very first announcement for our class, so it's going to be at the very bottom, talks about how to get updated.
Okay, in the hub of the design lounge.
It's free, but you need to get updated. Things will work better for you. You'll have some new tools and everything. And it looks,
After all I went through the first 2 weeks of class to get updated, you
yes, Bill, but you're an exception since you weren't actually an active student, since you're just auditing. That made a bit of a difference on your upgrade.
So in other words, you're calling me a special case.
She's not going to do that. Your situation was special.
Yeah. I am a premium member of PSD Covers now. I just need to figure out how to get in there and get my stuff done again. Okay, I can't believe it's gone.
I'm so glad it's just not me, because I sit at home going, the design world doesn't love me. So I just can't get it right. Praise is good.
Unless they just moved it, but it looks to me like it's gone. It used to be right here. There's my Adobe color themes.
My problem is always forgetting where I put it.
That's a whole nother story, Phil. That's fun.
Here, I'll put that in a safe place so I know where it's at. I forget where my safe place is.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah. Okay, we're staring at a white box. What are we doing?
I'm trying to get my plugin reactivated so it'll show up in Photoshop.
Oh, okay.
I can't believe it's done. That really makes me mad. Because that's going, I bet you all my actions that were pre-programmed are gone too. That's really going to make me mad.
Uh-oh.
You think Do you think it might have disappeared because of the update?
Yes.
Uh,
And a lot of those actions I didn't have saved to my cloud.
so my problem is I don't use the cloud.
Oh, see, I save everything to my Creative Cloud. Well, not everything, but a lot of stuff.
I was gonna say, with everything that I've got, I mean, I kind of wish I would have used it when I lost my 2 external hard drives, but I just had so much stuff on them that, yeah, the cloud would be quite expensive to use.
Right.
Well, I didn't really worry about that because at the time, because it was my PC, and I was only really focused about my Mac and design stuff for school. But when I lost my hard drive and my whole world and all my was on there, I was like, oh, gee, yeah, cloud would have been good. But I didn't know about that then for a PC. I thought you could only use it on the Mac with these Adobe products.
Yes.
I had a small external that was, I think 100 gigs or something like that. And that had everything that I did in school on it. And I was doing my capstone and project, and I was walking out on the front porch to work outside, and the hard drive was sitting on my laptop, and it slid off my laptop, smashed on a porch, cement porch, and I lost everything on there. Wanted to cry.
Yeah, crying was the least. I mean, like,
Well, luckily the neighbors weren't outside because there was quite a lot of colorful words that were said.
Explicative, explicative, explicative.
Apparently, PSD coverage is not very fast at sending an email either. Hello. I just want my plugin. In here.
So if you're joining us on the recording, we are actually doing something, and she's trying to show us something where you're not staring at a white blank box on the screen.
It's a plugin, and I thought it had copied to my apps in Creative Cloud because really the plugin is a partnership with Adobe, and it before I didn't have to download it. It was just there. All I had to do was sign into it. But it's not here anymore, and they're not sending me an email yet. So I'm not going to be able to show you those actions. Well, let's see. Let's try something. I didn't think about trying to. Has anybody else been having that trouble? I'm having it on both of my computers at work and here since I did the update. When I hit new from the dashboard, it won't ever open. I just get this blank box. But if I go to
that, or it takes quite a while. I think I had to click on it a couple times.
It's ridiculous. Actions. Well, my actions are still here.
Yay!
Yeah, those are here. PSG cover stuff isn't here.
I didn't know what actions box was, so at least it does stuff, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, it will do all kinds of stuff. Let's see. You should get familiar with those actions. They can save you time.
Yes.
Take that one and go back to my actions box. This one's saved as a Photoshop PDF. custom RGB. Let's take a look at this one. I hit play. Button. It'll automatically turn it to grayscale.
Okay. What turns it to grayscale?
That specialized action I've created there. And you can create actions to do all sorts of things. Let's make a new layer here. Let's get rid of this one. And I'm going to go down here to my stop button first. This is the record button right here. So if I record, let's say I want to automatically create some type of shape on a certain document. Maybe I'm going to use it as a watermark. I could grab my shape tool, draw out my watermark. I'm still in grayscale. Oops.
That's a pretty color.
So I want to make a circle there, and I'm going to grab my type tool. Make it darker. Check mark. And then I'm going to turn the opacity down on all of it. And flatten that layer. And hit stop.
How did you flatten it? You just, what did you do? It was something over there.
E is an element is the shortcut to flattening.
Okay, that means it puts them all together.
Yes. Except for I didn't do something right because I did not make my recording. Let's see here. Yeah, there it is. Let's see if I called it watermark. I don't need to set the default action. We're gonna hit record. Grab my tool again. Definitely not yellow. And my type tool.
It's 5 o'clock.
What was that?
It's my computer. It tells me what time it is, but it's a little fast. So that's why I get confused what time it is sometimes. I'm like, what time is it really?
I was going to say, it's lying to you.
I know. I got to change it. I did it on with my something, I guess a watch, and I have my watch to miss fast. So I around and go, what time is it really sometimes? That's why I said, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was late.
Okay, so
It's
now
5:40 or, well, here it's 5:48 on the East Coast.
I'm Central, so it's 4:48.
Rainbow, hello. Not in that folder. I know I have an image on this computer somewhere. Please. I'm going to open up my picture now. Now let's say I want to place that watermark that I created on this image. Open my actions panel, Go down to my watermark and hit play. Play it off. Come on. Oops. Yes, I want to toggle them all.
Is this how you guys put the pictures on your I mean the watermark on your pictures?
Yes.
Not how I do it, but you always learn something new.
Yes. Trying to
I
work.
just usually put what I want on there, like my logo, or type out my name, and then do the opacity on it, reduce it down so it's visible but not overpowering, and then merge it that way when I save it.
But yes, I write little actions like that so I can hit play and it will automatically do something for me. I had for a customer, I had to do it was a yearbook. It was for one of the school districts. And, all the students get the little bitty thumbnail image in the yearbook, right? Well, the image they sent me was a large image. They all had to be scaled down to be this exact same size, but the artwork they sent me was not that size. So I did a little action, and so it would automatically resize all those images. So all I had to do was hit play.
Oh, that's cool.
It would open it, save it, and all I had to do was hit play. And so it saved me a lot of time versus having to go to image.
Each and every one.
Yes, and then save and resave it. I could just hit play once I opened the image and it would change the size and save that image.
Well, I'm gonna have to work on that. That sounds wonderful. That sounds like
time
a dream.
saver, definitely.
That sounds like a dream.
So anything you do repeatedly, you could save as an action to do what you need it to do.
Now, is that for just the Photoshop, or is that included in the other Adobe programs?
No, Photoshop is the only one that will do actions like this.
Okay.
We both said the same thing.
Let's see if maybe they've decided to send me an email yet. And no. Did it go to my spam folder? No. They're just slow. Thanks. Okay, well, maybe tomorrow we'll be able to look at PSD covers. It's gone. I'm so sad. It should be right there. So we've gone through all of our metadata. Any questions on that? We've walked through the template. Those PSD mockup templates are pretty easy. As long as you're clicking on the smart object, so you open that new tab, it's just a matter of finding it. But usually there's a layer that will say your art here or front cover image here, that sort of thing. So you just kind of have to read the layer names until you find the right layer, and it should have a little symbol on it that you just double click and it opens a new tab.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Working on your metadata shouldn't take you too very long, but it's one of the most important things you can do.
I see that.
Muse makes it pretty simple. Make sure you go through each page and check your alt text for your images. Make sure you have all your alt text done correctly. You can select the image, right click, and go to edit image properties, and make sure you have some alternative text.
Remember we were talking about our pictures and you wanted to make sure that they had the correct file names so that it goes in the assets folder. Is that correct?
Yes, you can go to your assets folder and make sure that none of your pictures have a big exclamation or a question mark beside them.
Where do you
Here, my
find
next
assets
view has an exclamation mark. So I'm going to hover over that exclamation mark, and it's going to tell me why Muse is giving me a warning. And it says, original asset size 1226 by 794. Resample the asset size 1226, 794. Page item size 1283 to 831. I forced that image to be larger than its original size. Not much, but a little larger, but it's not pixelated. So I'm okay with that warning. So it tells me that the asset may have been sized larger than its original size. It may look pixelated. Resize it smaller or link to a larger asset. Well, in my case, I didn't enlarge it enough for it to look pixelated. It looks perfectly fine. So I'm going to ignore that warning. If you have a question mark next to one of your images in your asset panel, you must relink that image. Let me close this out of here.
when you, I know this sounds stupid, but when you
What I
say,
mean, I'm gonna have to delete something from my folder though, so that I get that nice little question mark, so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about.
where is the assets panel? I know this is a stupid question, but I all of a sudden can't remember.
Okay, now let's try opening my homepage. Let's see.
Once you got a page open, it should be over, go up in the windows, you'll see assets in there.
Left-hand side, you should have an assets button. If you don't, you can go to Windows and just go to assets.
Okay.
Question mark. If you have one of those red question marks, that means that the asset is missing and Muse cannot technically link to it. So when you upload it to Business Catalyst, guess what's going to happen?
Nothing.
It's not going to be there. It's going to be blank, missing. So if you have that problem, all you have to do is right-click on top of that question mark and choose Relink.
What about the one with the exclamation point and a yellow triangle?
This one?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at my Muse. What did you show?
Mine says the status. Asset may have been sized larger than its original size.
Where are you
We're
reading
still on,
that? I don't
we're
see.
still on your Photoshop page.
Yeah, that's
me.
why I'm confused. Okay. Thank you. I
No problem.
kept wondering.
There you go.
Thank you. I was like, where is it? I don't-
There we go. I thought it said back to me, so I had my green box and everything. I can't believe y'all couldn't see it. Oh, well, sorry about
Like,
that,
what
guys.
is she talking about?
See, it wasn't me. See, this is what happened.
Yeah. Let's go through that again. Let's see. Close here. Close this home page. Reopen it.
And honestly, it doesn't matter what page you open up, because when you put asset on, everything is going to come up on it.
Yeah, I'm just resetting mine because I'm having to delete an image so that I can get those little question marks and things. There we go.
But I had found that out when I checked it out, and it was like, wait a minute, that's listing everything, not just what's on that page.
Okay, so if you have an exclamation mark, you're gonna hover over it and it will tell you in a little pop-up box, it will give you the information. In my case, on my exclamation mark, it tells me that my asset may have been sized larger than its original size. It may look pixelated. Resize it smaller or link to a larger asset. I'm going to choose to ignore that warning because it doesn't look pixelated. I tested it. It looks fine.
Oh, that's like that message that came up we were talking about. You said just basically ignore it because it says like I got 28 assets that might not be the right size or whatever.
Right. Just make sure
Okay.
it and it doesn't look pixelated. If it's fine, you can ignore the warning. Now the question marks you cannot ignore. That means that you have an asset missing. That it's not linked to your actual Muse file anymore. That
Okay,
means
so
upload to Business Catalyst or your web hosting service, that picture will be missing. which means there'll be an empty space on that page where that image is supposed to be.
No, that's your logo. So what are you going to do to show me what you're fixing it with? How are you fixing it?
You right click on the question mark and just simply choose relink. I'm going to relink to that image and the question mark disappears.
Phrases. Okay.
So if you have question marks, fix them. That's mandatory that you fix them. The little exclamation point is a warning. Just make sure you check it. Look at that image, make sure it's not pixelated in your browser. And then you can choose to ignore it, or you can choose to open up that photo in Photoshop, resize it to the size you actually need it to be. I resized mine to, it was originally 1226 by 794. I enlarged it to 1283 by 831. Not a whole lot. I didn't enlarge it a lot. And it wasn't enough to pixelate the image, so I'm not going to bother resizing it. It will be fine.
Okay.
So make sure you've gone through, checked your alt text, check your asset folder, make sure you don't have any warnings or question marks. Make sure you go through and check your headings. Make sure you have them marked as H1. If you have subheadings, make sure they're marked as H2, H3, and so forth. Make sure your paragraph text is marked as paragraph. And that's a subhead. And my heading for that page is actually an H1. This will lead to your SEO. All these headings and subheads are what help your SEO. So make sure you have them marked accordingly throughout your website.
But all you need to know is a subhead, right?
You need to mark your headings and your subheadings. Everything defaults to paragraph in Muse. So unless you physically change it, like this heading here, I missed one. My contact me is set to paragraph. I need to change it so it's H1 because that's my heading. And then I have some subheads. My phone, it's marked it as a paragraph 2. I'm going to change it to an H2, a subhead. That one was a subhead. Looks like I only missed the phone. Yep, and that one's an H2. So all of these are an H2.
Now, Misty, I got a question in regard to that. My page title, I did as an H1. My category title, like for the albums, I did as an H2. My explanation or the title of the image, I actually did as an H3.
That's fine.
Is that going to be any?
Those are
That's not going to be a problem?
No, that won't be a problem because those are important things as far as SEO to your website. Your
Okay.
pictures and things like that.
Does that mean like on our slideshows, we need to do, we need to do the alt text, and do we consider that those are headings?
Yes,
Or-
you can do the alt text on your images and your description. If you have more than one word, then it needs to be marked as paragraph. If you just have it labeled with one word, you can mark it as a subhead, like an H3.
Okay, one word is H3, but more than one is a paragraph.
Would be a paragraph, yes. And on your slideshow, if you double click and double click again until you get the little bounding box that's just around your image, it's usually a different color. And the bounding box looks a little different. Instead of squares on each corner, you have little dots. Then you can right click it, edit image properties, and give it some alt text. And then I'm just going to click my little button to switch to the next one, double click it until I get inside of it, and give it some alt text.
Okay, wow.
And then just keep going.
And you thought throwing together a website was easy.
Well, I didn't realize it had so many steps though, but that's the blessing of learning.
It's much faster to do a website in Muse than it is in Dreamweaver. Much faster, like days faster,
I like days faster.
because you don't have to code. It does it all for you. All you have to do is go through the steps to make sure you get your SEO in there. That is the only downside to Muse. Muse does not produce as good SEO as actually designing a website from scratch in HTML and doing it yourself. They just haven't quite, search engines have a harder time picking up SEO in Muse versus a plain website. And I'll show you why. We go to File, Preview Site in Browser. There it is. Okay, so here's my web page view to my browser. If I right click and I do view page source, there is all the code, all the HTML code that Muse has done for you. Now, Muse, when it first came out, when Adobe first created it, it really wasn't a viable website builder because it created a lot of trash code that meant absolutely nothing, which made the sites take longer to load and so forth. They have cleaned all of that up. But as you know, with regular, if you've already had one web design class, you've probably had APP 242, which is where you actually had to code. And you know that your metadata is all found at the top. You have your description, and it gives the description here. Your keywords are listed up there. And then you've got the generator, the viewport, and then you go on down, and let's see if we can find our first image here. Body. Here's my first image. And the alt text is here. But because of all of this beautiful script right here, this is what tells search engines, other designers that have to work on a site, that this is a Muse site. Well, it complicates your SEO a little bit. It is getting better. Every time they do an update, your SEO gets better because they clean it up and they make it a little better so that search engines can find stuff. Last time I taught this class was probably about 4 months ago, and it was before the newest update for Muse. And alt text was not found on the same line as the image code. There was a whole nother block of code that gave alt text for each image. Well, guess what? SEO wasn't working very well. Why? Because search engines don't know what to do with that block of code. They aren't programmed to look at a certain block of code for alt text. They're programmed to read that alt text in line with the image code. Muse has moved it, which means your SEO has improved a lot. But if you think about it, Muse did a whole lot of work for you, considering all you had to do was place some images and some text and double click some stuff to get some alt text. It wrote all this code for you on top of all the CSS. It also wrote your CSS file.
What is CSS?
That is what tells your web browser where to place an image. What the padding is. Let's see. Let's find my logo.
Looking at all that and remembering taking Dreamweaver sort of gives me chills.
Yes. Let's see if we can find my logo here. Come on, where are you? need a bigger view. Ah, there we go. Body. There's my background image. There's my logo right here. So I'm going to click here on this line. My class is non-block. And this tells me all my CSS. It tells me that my display is set to block. My margin are set to 0, 0, 0. Nope, wrong image. Let's see if I can go back to here. Let's look at it here. That way I can click on stuff.
Now, how did you get into that page? Was that on the internet, or
And
was
yeah,
that in Muse?
no, this is in my web browser. I'm using Chrome.
Okay.
Both Chrome and Firefox has the developer tools so that you can actually get inside the website and take a look at it, so to speak.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because I do remember, doing that when we took Dreamweaver, that, you could look at a site and click somehow to bring that out, but I forgot what we clicked.
Right. So I've got all sorts of padding and visibility and margins and line height and font size. All of this controls what your website looks like in the web browser.
Wow.
CSS. If we go down to my logo specifically, what line are you on? There's the about, contact wrapper. Oh, it might be in here. There's my desk view. There's my index. I want this. It's my browser width. A shadow. Here's my logo. Right there. So let's see what CSS I have right there. So I've got a background color set. Yes, that's in my header. I've got border button colors, which control my navigation. All of this is CSS stuff. I have a million CSS sheets to control this website. Muse is doing all this for you. Whereas when you build a website, you have to create that CSS yourself.
So does that stand for like computer control systems or something?
Cascading style sheet.
Oh.
That's what CSS stands for, cascading style sheet. Because technically, a website is cascading, right? It scrolls up and down. And your CSS can apply to one page or it can apply to many pages. So it can cascade across the entire website. And it controls where everything is and how it looks. If you want a font to be a certain type of font and be a certain size and a certain color, CSS controls that. Basically, the way to think about it is CSS controls all of the visual on the page, how it looks, where it's located. If you want to add a drop shadow, you do that in CSS. The only thing HTML controls is making sections or blocks, which we call div tags, on different sets of information. You have a div tag that is your header, a div tag that is your wrapper for a responsive website, which encompasses the entire website, whereas your header is only a little block at the top. And then you have your main content, which is the block in the middle. And then you have your footer, which is the block at the bottom. You can also have an A side, which is a side column, if you have a sidebar.
Okay, we're losing you.
The what?
We started losing. You went into bot mode.
Oh, did I go
Yeah,
into
you're starting to crackle up a little bit.
your wrapper is like encompasses the entire website, and the wrapper is used to make your site responsive, basically to contain everything and make it shrink down back to the next line when necessary. Inside that wrapper, you have several different blocks. You have your header. That's a whole area of the website all by itself, right? We all know where the header of the website is. It's at the top. Well, in HTML code, you create a tag called header, and everything that's inside that tag belongs to that header block. And then you have a block called main content. That's the stuff in the middle of the website, right? That's the important stuff. Stuff you're showing off to everybody. Inside that main content, you can have several other blocks by using div tags or an A side tag, which is a sidebar. Or you have your, now my mind just went blank. Oh my goodness. You have your main content tags, you have section tags, article tags, which can hold text and pictures and things like that. Basically, all a website is a bunch of blocks stacked together to create one full page. You could have different shape blocks all over, but they all fit together seamlessly to make one flat page. But they all get sectioned out, and then you use CSS to control those sections. If your sidebar is supposed to be on the left side of your website, then you would write a CSS rule that said the A side needs to float left, so that it takes that A side, whatever's inside that A side tag, which is your sidebar, and it pushes it off to the left. And it allows whatever's below that A side to come up to the right and fit in there, so that it all fits together seamlessly. Make sense?
Yes, thank you. It actually does. You did very well. I was trying to mentally receive all of it, and I did.
Good.
Thank you.
It takes practice. Have you had your APP 242 class yet, Corley?
No, I haven't
Maybe
had it.
class. We have lots of fun in that class.
Okay, well, that's a coming. So I'm behind about one or two classes because so anyway, I'm trying to put it all together. Thank you. That was very well said. I appreciate it. I'll probably need to hear it again, but I got it. It's in there.
Good. And when you take the APP 242 class, we'll be putting that into practice, because you actually code in that class. No Muse, you're using Dreamweaver.
Right.
But overall, as a web designer, if I am making just a simple basic website, and it's not an e-commerce site, I have done an e-commerce site in Muse before. They used PayPal, and it was only a very few items, and I think they had like 5 items. That was it. And so it was very limited. And so I did their website in Muse. But if I'm doing just a basic website for a company that's not actually selling anything online, they're just giving information, I usually do it in Muse because it's much faster.
Now, I know this sounds crazy, but of course, it's all new to me. Is WordPress like Muse or not? What is WordPress?
No, WordPress, to begin with, WordPress was created strictly as a blog. They have ventured into being a website for their users versus a blog, but that website is still basically a blog. And there are limited setups. You can design your own WordPress themes. They have to be done specific ways. And WordPress uses a lot of PHP and Java and things like that versus simple HTML. you get more into a programming type thing with WordPress. My understanding though is they are going to do a class that actually goes over WordPress and building a WordPress theme, because it is a popular thing right now. I don't necessarily like it because you are limited. Even when you do your own theme, you're limited at the things you can do because their server will only accept certain things.
Yeah, my business, not the business I'm working with that I'm consulting with, I did all of the creative for it, and then we had a person come and design it and put I did all the content management, and I told her what I wanted, and then she put it together, but it was on WordPress, and we never really got a good. She's like, oh, it's this and this, and it's easy, and I'm like, so every time I go in, I'm like, I am not excited to be in there, and it just seems like a drama.
WordPress is very limited as far as being able to have creative freedom and design what you want. Now, it's a great way to make a quick website if it works for the company. Mostly, you're going to find a lot of specific type companies that use WordPress. And
yeah, well, we're a nonprofit, so we just have text. Yeah.
Yeah. But I prefer building websites on my own because I have more creative freedom. But I have done a WordPress website. I don't make it a habit. I try and stay away from the WordPress sites because they depress me.
Now, Missy, isn't CSS now CSS3?
I'm sorry, what?
CSS, isn't that now set as CSS3? Didn't they update that?
Yes, the latest version of CSS is CSS3.
Okay, I thought so. From when I did Dreamweaver and Flash.
Yes, and there is a new, while CSS is technically the same, there is a new W3 CSS, and it's strictly for building a responsive website. And that CSS is awesome. And you can actually download it and like save it in your document so that you can use it on any website you want to. And basically the CSS rules are already created for you. You just have to apply them to the different tags, and it has built-in responsiveness. It's really awesome.
Wow.
The W3 CSS stuff. It's like, let's see here. Let me get out of developer mode. There we go.
I haven't seen that site in a while.
You can, yeah, w3school.com is like the Bible for web design.
I still have it bookmarked.
And they have a Learn W3 CSS, which is all the responsive stuff, but it does everything for you. It makes it so much easier, and you can customize that CSS if you need to, or you can use it just the way it is.
Cool.
And they have all kinds of, they have CSS for everything. Your container CSS. Let's see if I can find one. The CSS cards are pretty cool. You've seen these websites lately that have these little cards on them? They don't have an image. They don't have a person's name and information. You see it, it's popping up in a lot of places on contact pages. Well, W3 School created the simple CSS card, which will turn and make it look just like this. So they've done some really cool stuff with their W3 CSS.
Yeah, they definitely did some changes, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying it. But I went through the little tutorial when they first published it, and I thought, oh, this is going to save me tons of times. And most of the time it does. I get a little carried away because I want to play with things. And I end up spending more time on something than I necessarily had to.
And the one thing that the weird looks that you get when you start talking excited about something like this to people that aren't in the business, and they just kind of look at you like, well, you know, what are you talking about?
Right. And the thing I like about CSS is when you find an example of something, let's like if you wanted to do a slideshow. Because occasionally, you know, things happen and you forget, haven't done something for a long time, and I have to look it up on W3 School because it's something I haven't done. They're asking for a specific slideshow, and I'm like, okay, I've done that, but I don't remember exactly what it is the code was supposed to look like. Well, I can usually find it on W3 School. And this is the simple carousel slideshow. They're very popular. I know this by heart. I use it so much, but if it's something that's taken, I haven't done in a while, I can go to W3 School, scroll down that page, and it tells me, step 1, this is the HTML I need to add, and I can simply copy and paste it instead of typing it. And then it tells me step 2, this is the CSS I need to create. So I can copy this, paste it into my CSS style sheet, and it automatically gets done for me. And then step 3, this is the JavaScript I have to add to make that slideshow work and be responsive. So I just
Slideshow for dummies, all right.
Yeah. And then overall, it's like, okay, but where do I put all this stuff? Well, on any of it, you can hit try it yourself, and it's going to show you the entire HTML code.
Oh, wow.
So that you know exactly where you need to put that in your website, because all you're going to do is go through, okay, this part goes after the body tag. Well, if this part is in your main content, you would want to find your section tag and you would want to put it there. But it gives you an idea of where you're going to need to put stuff within your code. I love W3 School. Like I said, it's a Bible for web designers.
I just went to my bookmarks to make sure that I did still have that in there.
Yeah. And in Muse, it does all the script for you too. You're going to see script tags throughout the document. There's script everywhere. Script up here, the script at the bottom for all of your slideshows and things like that will all have script tags and things like that. I'm still a little disappointed with Muse because they are not using the HTML5 headers yet, like your sections and articles and A-sides. They're not using those tags yet, but the code is clean, which makes it a viable website builder. Used to, it was not, because the code was full of trash code. Took forever for a site to load, and all it could have on it was text because there was so much trash code. Okay, Corley, I'll see you later. We're ready to call it a night anyway, unless you guys have any more questions. We are finished.
I actually have 2 questions in regards to something you showed me yesterday, and I tried to go over it on the video and follow it. So, I mean, you can record it or you can stop recording, but